The question has haunted you longer than you care to admit. You have done everything right by society's standards. You have built a career, you stay in shape, you dress well, you treat people with respect. Yet somehow, the women you are genuinely interested in seem to slip through your fingers like water. You watch other men who seem to have less going for them on paper, effortlessly attract the kind of connection you have been chasing for years, and you cannot figure out why. You wonder if you are missing something, if there is some secret code you were never taught, some invisible rule that everyone else seems to know but you. The answer is yes, there is a code, but it is not what you think. It is not about having the right job title or the perfect jawline. It is not about memorizing pickup lines or pretending to be someone you are not. The men who genuinely attract women, the ones who build connections that last, understand something that most men never learn. They understand that real attraction is not built on appearance or wealth alone. It is built on something far more subtle, far more powerful, and far more within your control than you realize. Let me share a scene with you that illustrates this perfectly. Picture a man named Daniel. He is 48 years old, successful in his career, physically fit and well-dressed. He walks into a coffee shop and spots a woman he finds attractive. She is in her early 30s, reading a book, and she looks up as he approaches. Daniel has read all the dating advice. He knows he should be confident, funny, and engaging. He launches into a rehearsed conversation, cracking jokes, steering the topic toward his accomplishments, trying to impress her with his wit and his stories. She smiles politely, nods along, and within 10 minutes, she finds an excuse to leave. He never hears from her again. Now imagine a different scene. Another man, same coffee shop, same woman. His name is Marcus, and he is 52 years old. He is not as conventionally attractive as Daniel. He is not as flashy. But when he approaches her, he does something different. He does not try to impress her. He simply sits down, smiles warmly, and asks her about the book she is reading. He listens. He does not interrupt. He does not try to steer the conversation toward himself. When she shares something personal, he acknowledges it with a quiet nod. His energy is calm, grounded, unhurried. By the end of the conversation, she is leaning in, asking him questions, and when he finally gets up to leave, she is the one who asks for his number. What was the difference? It was not his looks. It was not his money. It was the way he made her feel. And that is what this video is about. The small things that most men overlook, the things that quietly touch a woman's heart and create a connection that lasts. Here is the truth that most men never fully grasp. Women are not primarily attracted to money, good looks, or social status. Those things might catch their attention initially, but they do not create lasting attraction. What truly stays in a woman's mind is how you make her feel when she is with you. Does she feel safe? Does she feel seen? Does she feel like she can be herself without judgment or pressure? These are the questions her nervous system is asking, whether she is consciously aware of them or not. Research published in the journal Personality and Social Psychology Review found that kindness and emotional stability are consistently ranked among the most desirable traits in a long-term partner, often outranking physical attractiveness and financial resources. Women are 10 times more likely to be attracted to kindness in a potential partner than to the signaling of financial resources. This is not a theory. This is psychology. In this video, I will share 5 things women secretly want, even though they rarely say them out loud. These are not typical dating tips. We will combine modern psychology with timeless Stoic wisdom to help you understand what creates real emotional attraction. Imagine if you could understand the desires that many women do not even fully recognize themselves. Imagine standing out from almost every other man without trying too hard, seeking attention, or pretending to be someone you are not. You do not have to become the perfect man. You simply need to understand what makes a woman feel comfortable, emotionally safe, and genuinely connected. That is what leaves a lasting impression. Secret number 1 is the power of gentle touch before intimacy. Let me paint you a picture. You are on a date. The conversation flows naturally. She is smiling, laughing, and enjoying the moment. But after the date ends, you send her a message, and she never replies. Why does that happen? Because many men believe attraction is created only through words. They try to be funnier, smarter, or more impressive. But women often connect through emotions, presence, and the feeling of safety they experience around you. One of the most overlooked factors is a gentle, respectful touch. Not something rushed or inappropriate, but a small gesture at the right moment with sincere intention. For many women, a simple gesture like this can leave a stronger emotional impact than 100 compliments. It silently says, "I see you, I care about you, and you can feel safe with me." Research on the psychology of touch has shown that gentle stroking touch is most linked with arousal when participants have their partner in mind. This is not just about physical stimulation. It is about emotional connection. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." The same applies here. Your touch, when it is gentle and respectful, embodies your care in a way that words never can. Consider a practical example. Imagine you are walking with a woman after dinner. The evening has been pleasant, but there is a slight awkwardness, a sense that neither of you knows quite how to bridge the gap between friendly and something more. As you walk, she mentions that she is cold. Most men would offer a comment, "Yeah, it is chilly tonight," or perhaps offer their jacket. But there is a more powerful response. You could simply place your hand gently on the small of her back as you guide her toward a warmer spot. The touch is brief, respectful, and purposeful. It is not grabbing or lingering too long. It is simply there, communicating protection and care without a single word. Her nervous system registers that touch before her conscious mind can analyze it. She feels safe. She feels seen. And that feeling stays with her long after the moment has passed. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." When you waste the opportunity to create a genuine emotional connection through a simple, respectful touch, you are wasting the chance to build something real. Secret number 2 is the art of respectful flirting. Most men make one of two mistakes. Some flirt too aggressively and make the interaction uncomfortable. Others are so reserved that they never show any romantic interest at all. The truth is, women enjoy flirting when it is natural, playful, and respectful. Flirting is not about memorizing clever pickup lines. It is about the energy you bring into the conversation. Keep the mood light, add a little humor, and make the interaction enjoyable. Think of it like a dance. You create the rhythm, and she naturally responds. Nothing feels forced or rehearsed. Psychological research has identified that women tend to prefer a partner who can make them laugh, while men tend to favor someone who laughs at their jokes. This is a crucial distinction. Women are not looking for a court jester. They are looking for someone who can create a shared experience of joy and connection. A gentle approach to flirting, one that is respectful and playful, is rated as more effective by women. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When your thoughts are focused on creating a genuine, playful connection rather than on impressing or winning, your flirting will naturally feel more authentic and attractive. For example, if she says she loves Italian food, instead of trying too hard to impress her with your knowledge of Italian cuisine, you could smile and say, "Then I guess you have not tried my homemade pasta yet." That is not arrogance. It is relaxed confidence with a playful touch. You are not bragging. You are simply creating a shared joke, a moment of lightness that invites her into your world. Real flirting never comes from the need for approval. The harder you try to make someone like you, the more your natural charm begins to disappear. Women are naturally drawn to men who enjoy the moment, create genuine conversations, and do not rely on other people's validation to feel valuable. Those are the men who leave the strongest impression, because true attraction is built on confidence, authenticity, and emotional strength. Relationship counselor Jamie Date notes that women are most attracted to men who are confident without the need to be the loudest or always be the center of attention. That quiet confidence, the kind that does not need to prove itself, is what makes you stand out. Secret number 3 is emotional maturity and the ability to handle disagreement without escalation. This is one of the most overlooked qualities in modern dating, yet it is one of the most powerful. A woman values a man who can talk things through, handle disagreements respectfully, and not make everything about ego. When you can disagree with her without getting defensive, without raising your voice, without trying to win the argument at all costs, you are communicating something profound. You are telling her that your connection is more important than being right. You are telling her that her opinions matter to you, even when they differ from your own. You are telling her that she can be herself around you, even when herself is not always easy or agreeable. Consider a scenario. She says something that you genuinely disagree with. Maybe it is about politics, maybe about lifestyle, maybe about something more personal. The insecure man will either agree to avoid conflict or argue aggressively to prove he is right. Both are forms of control. The emotionally mature man simply says, "I see it differently." He does not explain himself at length. He does not try to convince her. He just states his position and lets it sit. She might push back. He does not flinch. She might ask why he thinks that way. He answers honestly, without defensiveness, and then he lets the conversation move on. What she experiences in that moment is not a debate. It is the presence of a man who is not threatened by difference. That is deeply attractive because it signals that he is not looking for someone to agree with him. He is looking for someone to be real with. Research from the Gottman Institute, which has studied thousands of couples over decades, shows that the way couples handle conflict is one of the strongest predictors of relationship success. Couples who can disagree respectfully, who can repair after a disagreement, and who do not escalate conflict into personal attacks are far more likely to stay together and be happy. Secret number 4 is the ability to listen without fixing. This is a skill that most men have never been taught. When a woman shares a problem, a worry, or a difficult emotion, the male instinct is often to jump in and solve it. You want to offer solutions, to fix the problem, to make it better. But here is the thing. Most of the time, she does not want you to fix it. She wants you to hear it. She wants to feel understood. She wants to know that her feelings are valid and that she is not alone in carrying them. When you rush to offer solutions, you are inadvertently telling her that her emotions are a problem to be solved rather than an experience to be shared. You are communicating that you are not comfortable with her vulnerability. The philosopher Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This is not just a clever saying. It is a profound truth about human connection. When you listen without fixing, you are giving her a gift that almost no one else gives her. You are giving her the space to be fully herself, without judgment, without pressure, without the need to perform or to manage your emotions. Imagine she is telling you about a difficult day at work. She is frustrated, tired, and a little overwhelmed. The insecure man interrupts with advice, "You should talk to your boss, or maybe you should look for a new job." The emotionally intelligent man simply says, "That sounds really tough. Tell me more." He does not try to solve her problem. He simply makes space for her to feel what she is feeling. And in that space, she feels safe. She feels seen. She feels connected to him in a way that no amount of advice could ever create. Secret number 5 is the quality of presence. This is perhaps the most powerful secret of all, and it is the one that most men completely miss. Presence is the ability to be fully in the moment with another person, without your mind wandering to the past or the future, without part of you calculating, evaluating, or anticipating. It is the ability to simply be here with her without needing to perform, impress, or control the outcome. When you are truly present with a woman, something remarkable happens. Her nervous system begins to settle. She relaxes in ways she often does not even register consciously. She stops checking her phone. She stops looking over your shoulder. She stops managing her own behavior to make you comfortable. She simply is, and in that space of shared presence, genuine connection can grow. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This applies directly to presence. You do not need to argue about whether you are enough. You do not need to prove your worth with words. You simply need to be present. And when you are present, your presence communicates everything that needs to be said. Consider this practical exercise. The next time you are on a date or having a conversation with a woman you are interested in, put your phone away. Not on the table face down. Not in your pocket on silent. Put it away where you cannot see it and she cannot see it. Then, commit to being fully present. When she speaks, listen to her words, but also listen to the emotion behind them. Notice her body language, the way she moves her hands, the way her eyes light up when she talks about something she loves. Do not interrupt. Do not plan your next response while she is still speaking. Just be with her. You will be amazed at how different the interaction feels. You will notice that she opens up more, that she laughs more easily, that she seems more relaxed around you. That is the power of presence. Now, let me share a real-world scenario that brings all of these secrets together. Picture a man named James. He is 45 years old, divorced, and has been out of the dating world for over a decade. He is nervous about getting back out there, but he is also determined to do things differently this time. He meets a woman named Sarah at a mutual friends gathering. She is 42, intelligent, and has a warm laugh that makes everyone around her feel at ease. James does not try to impress her with his job or his stories. He simply sits down next to her and asks her about herself. He listens. He asks thoughtful questions. When she shares something personal, he does not rush to offer advice. He simply acknowledges what she said with a quiet nod and a warm smile. At one point during the evening, Sarah mentions that she has been feeling a little overwhelmed with work lately. James does not say, "You should take a break," or "Maybe you need to delegate more." He simply says, "That sounds really heavy. I am sorry you are going through that." Sarah looks at him differently. She is not used to being heard like this. Later in the evening, as they are saying goodbye, James places his hand gently on her arm for just a moment. It is a brief touch, respectful and warm. He says, "I really enjoyed talking with you tonight." Sarah smiles and says, "Me too. I would love to do it again." What James did was not complicated. He did not use any pickup lines. He did not try to impress her. He simply applied the 5 secrets we have been discussing. He listened without fixing. He used gentle, respectful touch. He was playful and relaxed. He handled their conversation with emotional maturity. And most importantly, he was fully present. That is what made Sarah want to see him again. Let me give you another example. Imagine you are at a coffee shop and a woman sits down at the table next to you. You exchange a brief smile. She drops her phone and you pick it up and hand it back to her. She thanks you. Instead of rushing back to your own world, you ask her a question about the book she is reading. She answers, and you listen, not with the performative intensity of a man trying to impress, but with the quiet attention of someone who is genuinely curious. You do not interrupt. You do not try to show off your own knowledge. You simply let her talk. After a few minutes, she says something about how rare it is to have a real conversation with a stranger. She is not flirting. She is observing. And that observation is significant. She is telling you that your presence has created a space where she feels safe enough to be real. That is not something you can manufacture. It is something that emerges when you are not trying to control the outcome. The philosopher Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, taught that the goal of life is to live in agreement with nature. And it is human nature to seek connection, but it is also human nature to be drawn to those who are whole, who are grounded, who are at peace with themselves. When you become that man, you do not need to chase anything. The right people will find their way to you. There is a common misconception that being a good man means being a pushover. Nothing could be further from the truth. The men who are most attractive to women are not the ones who agree with everything she says or who bend over backward to please her. They are the ones who have strong boundaries, who know what they want, and who are not afraid to express their opinions respectfully. They are kind without being weak. They are firm without being cruel. They are confident without being arrogant. The philosopher Epictetus wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you are master of yourself, when you are grounded in your own values and your own sense of self-worth, you naturally become more attractive. You do not need to chase. You do not need to perform. You simply are. And that is what women are looking for. Let me offer you a practical exercise that you can start today. For 1 week, practice being more present in your interactions with women. When you are talking to a woman, put your phone away. Make eye contact. Listen to what she is saying. Not just her words, but the emotion behind them. Notice when she lights up, when she hesitates, when she seems uncertain. Do not rush to fill silences. Let them breathe. And when you do speak, speak from a place of genuine curiosity, not from a need to impress. You will be amazed at how differently women respond to you. The philosopher Socrates, who was not a Stoic but whose wisdom influenced the Stoics, said, "Wisdom begins in wonder." When you approach women with wonder, with genuine curiosity about who they are and what they think and feel, you are practicing wisdom. And wisdom, more than anything, is what makes you unforgettable. Here is another scenario to consider. You are at a dinner party. A woman you have just met is telling a story about a difficult decision she had to make at work. She is framing it as a simple anecdote, but you notice the subtle tension in her jaw, the way her hands move when she describes the pressure. Later, when you have a moment alone, you say, "You know, listening to you tell that story, I could tell that decision was heavier than you let on. You really carried that weight." She will pause. She will look at you differently, because you did not just hear her words. You heard her burden. And that is rare. That is the kind of observation that creates a bond that cannot be broken. This is not a technique. This is presence. This is attention. This is what it means to truly see another person. The philosopher Martin Buber, whose work on the philosophy of dialogue has influenced generations of thinkers, distinguished between I-it relationships, where we treat others as objects, and I-thou relationships, where we truly encounter another person. When you listen to a woman with genuine curiosity, when you are present with her without an agenda, you are offering her an I-thou encounter. You are treating her as a person, not as a means to an end. And that is profoundly attractive because it is so rare. Most people go through life treating others as objects. They use conversations as opportunities to impress, to win, to gain something. When you offer someone the gift of genuine presence, you are offering them something they rarely receive, and they will remember you for it. The philosopher William James, often called the father of American psychology, wrote that attention is the taking possession by the mind, in clear and vivid form, of one out of what seems several simultaneously possible objects or trains of thought. When you focus your attention on a woman, when you truly listen to her, you are taking possession of that moment. You are making it matter. And that is what creates a lasting impression. If you have made it this far, you have already done something most people will not. You have stayed present for a message that challenges the conventional wisdom about attraction and relationships. You have shown that you are willing to go beyond the surface to understand what actually creates connection. That is a sign of maturity and wisdom. The Stoics understood that true freedom comes from within. It comes from mastering your own mind, your own emotions, your own reactions. When you can do that, you no longer need external validation. You no longer need to chase approval. You become someone who attracts others naturally, not because you are trying to, but because you have become the kind of person people want to be around. That is the deepest secret of attraction. It is not about what you do. It is about who you are. And who you are is shaped by the choices you make every day. The choice to be present. The choice to listen. The choice to be kind without being weak. The choice to be firm without being cruel. The choice to be yourself, fully and unapologetically. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When your thoughts are colored by wisdom, by presence, by genuine care for others, your soul reflects that, and others will feel it. They will be drawn to you, not because you are trying to impress them, but because you have become someone worth being near." So, go out there and practice these secrets, not as techniques, but as expressions of who you truly are. And watch as the connections in your life begin to deepen and flourish.